a new hope. The Doge dividend emerges. This concept is stirring up quite a buzz, and for good reason. Elon Musk, the guy who makes electric cars and tweets about rockets, has a new idea. And when Musk has an idea, the world tends to listen. It's called the Doge dividend. And no, it has nothing to do with Dogecoin, the cryptocurrency. Instead, it's a bold new financial concept. This idea is about giving money back to Americans. Imagine a world where the government finds ways to save money and then redistributes it to the people. Sounds too good to be true. Well, hold on to your hats because it might be. But let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. This whole thing started with a guy named James Fishback. He's not a household name, but he's making waves in the business world. He's the CEO of some company called Azoria, but more importantly, he's the guy who pitched this whole Doge dividend idea to Musk. And Musk, being Musk, saw potential. The basic idea is simple. The government finds ways to save money and then it gives some of that money back to taxpayers. It's a win-win situation, at least on paper. Now, you might be thinking, where is the government going to find all this money to just give away? It's a valid question and one that needs a solid answer. Good question. That's where the Doge part comes in. It's not just a catchy name, it stands for something quite significant. Doge stands for the Department of Government Efficiency. This new agency is tasked with finding and eliminating wasteful spending. It's a new agency and Musk is in charge. With his track record of innovation, many are hopeful that he can make a real difference. The Doge dividend is still just an idea, and it faces a lot of challenges. There are skeptics, and rightly so. Implementing such a plan is no small feat, but hey, free money is free money, right? If it works, it could be a game changer for many Americans. So let's dive into the details and see if this thing has any chance of actually happening. The journey of the Doge dividend is just beginning, and it's bound to be an interesting ride. Alright, so the Doge dividend hinges on this idea of government efficiency. The thinking is the government wastes a lot of money. If we can just make the government less wasteful, boom! We've got money for tax rebates. The Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, is tasked with finding these savings. Think of them as the efficiency police, going through the government's budget with a fine-tooth comb, looking for wasted dollars. They're like the raccoons of bureaucracy, except instead of shiny objects, they're after wasted tax dollars. Now, whether the government actually wastes that much money is debatable, and whether Doge can actually find enough savings to fund these massive rebates is another question entirely. But that's the pitch, folks. Government efficiency, the path to free money. The goal of Doge is ambitious, to say the least. It's not just about saving a few bucks here and there, it's about fundamentally transforming how the government operates. They're aiming to find a whopping $2 trillion in government savings by the year 2026. That's a monumental task that requires a complete overhaul of existing systems and processes. That's trillion with a T. To put it in perspective, it's more than the GDP of many countries. That's a lot of money, even for the government. Imagine the kind of impact that amount could have on public services, infrastructure, and national debt. To put that in perspective, you could buy everyone in America a lifetime supply of avocado toast and still have some cash left over. It's a staggering amount that could change lives. Now, where are these savings supposed to come from? It's a question that has everyone scratching their heads. Well, Doge hasn't released a detailed plan yet. The specifics are still under wraps, leaving many to speculate. They've mentioned things like cutting down on bureaucratic waste, streamlining government agencies, and eliminating redundant processes, and maybe even selling off some government assets. These are bold moves that could face significant opposition. Basically, they're looking to give the government a Marie Kondo-style makeover, except instead of getting rid of things that don't spark joy, they're getting rid of things that don't make financial sense. It's about efficiency and effectiveness. $2 trillion is a massive target. It's a goal that requires not just ambition, but also meticulous planning and execution. Whether Doge can actually reach that target remains to be seen. The clock is ticking and the pressure is on. But one thing's for sure, achieving that level of savings would require some serious financial wizardry. It's a high-stakes game that could redefine government efficiency for generations to come. Okay, let's get to the good stuff, the money. If Doge somehow manages to achieve its ambitious $2 trillion savings goal, here's how the payout would work. They're planning to take 20% of those savings, which comes out to about $400 billion and distribute it directly to American taxpayers in the form of tax rebates. Each eligible household would receive around $5,000. That's right, 5,000 big ones. Now, that's not enough to buy a private island or retire early, but it's certainly enough to make a dent in some bills, maybe treat yourself to something nice or even invest in your future. Of course, this all hinges on Doge actually finding those trillions in savings. But hey, a little optimism never hurt anybody, right? Imagine the possibilities. Section 5. Why Doge? The rationale behind the dividend. So why is Elon Musk so gung-ho about giving money back to taxpayers? Well, according to Musk and Fishback, the Doge dividend has a few main goals. Firstly, they argue that it would boost tax morale. The idea is that if people feel like they're actually seeing a direct benefit from their tax dollars, they'll be more likely to pay their taxes willingly. It's like tipping your waiter, but in this case, the waiter is the government, and the tip is a fat check. Secondly, they believe it could encourage labor force participation. With a little extra cash in their pockets, people might be more inclined to enter or re-enter the workforce. And lastly, they argue that the remaining 80% of the savings from Doge would go towards reducing the national debt. That's the part they don't put on the shiny brochures. Whether these arguments hold water is up for debate, but one thing's for sure, the Doge dividend is a bold proposal with some big promises. The idea of a dividend is not entirely new, but the scale and ambition of the Doge dividend certainly are. By directly linking tax payments to tangible benefits, Musk and Fishback hope to create a more engaged and motivated taxpayer base. The potential impact on the economy could be significant, with increased consumer spending and higher workforce participation. However, the success of such a program would depend on careful implementation and widespread public support. Only time will tell if the Doge dividend can live up to its lofty promises and truly transform the way we think about taxes and public spending. Section 6. Congressional hurdles, the long road to approval. Now, before you start planning your $5,000 spending spree, there's one tiny little detail we need to address. Congress, that's right, the Doge dividend needs to be approved by those folks in Washington, D.C. before any money can start flowing back to taxpayers. And let's just say, getting something as radical as this through Congress is about as easy as herding cats on roller skates. It's going to be a long and winding road, filled with political wrangling, partisan bickering, and more than a few filibusters. Musk and Fishback are going to have to work their magic and convince both Democrats and Republicans that this is a good idea. They'll need to answer tough questions, address concerns, and probably make a few compromises along the way. Section 7. Legal landmines, navigating the courts. As if congressional approval wasn't enough of a hurdle, the Doge dividend also faces potential legal challenges. Some legal experts have raised concerns about the legality of Doge's authority to make decisions about government spending. They argue that this power rests solely with Congress. Others have questioned the legality of using government funds for direct payments to taxpayers in this manner. They argue that it could be considered an unconstitutional gift of public funds. These legal challenges could tie the whole Doge dividend up in court for years. It's a legal minefield out there, and one wrong step could blow the whole thing sky high. Section 8. A chorus of voices, support, criticism, and controversy. The Doge dividend has sparked a firestorm of debate, with opinions ranging from enthusiastic support to outright condemnation. On one side, you have supporters like James Fishback, who believe the Doge dividend is a brilliant idea that could revolutionize government efficiency and provide much-needed relief to American taxpayers. On the other side, you have critics like Kevin Thompson, a financial expert, who warn about the potential for inflation. They argue that injecting so much money into the economy could lead to rising prices and actually harm the very people it's supposed to help. The Doge dividend is a controversial proposal, to say the least. It's a radical idea that challenges the status quo. Whether you love it or hate it, there's no denying that it has people talking. Section 9. The road ahead, challenges and opportunities. The Doge dividend is a long shot, to put it mildly. It faces an uphill battle, from congressional approval to legal challenges to skeptical economists. But even if it doesn't come to fruition, the Doge dividend has already sparked a vital conversation about government efficiency, taxpayer rights, and the role of government in our lives. It's a conversation that's long overdue. Only time will tell what the future holds for the Doge dividend. But one thing's for sure, it's a story worth watching.